This is widely recognized by netizens as one of the most realistic war movies in recent years. The film is tense and compact throughout with a grim visual style, and the explosive, high-octane combat completely exceeded everyone's expectations, delivering a genuine surprise. Inside a grocery store in a small town near Mosul, Iraq, 3 Iraqi police officers are being besieged by numerous ISIS militants. Multiple AK assault rifles firing at full capacity keep them pinned down, unable to lift their heads. Obviously, the militants' goal is to rescue their associate who was arrested by these 3 officers. In the chaos, an M67 grenade is suddenly thrown in. Officer Kawa sees this, immediately picks it up, and throws it out the door, instantly averting the danger. Immediately afterwards, Kawa uses the bullet holes in the counter to try and intercept the enemy with his Glock 17 pistol, but the militants' reinforcements arrive at that moment. After taking down an enemy entering the room, Kawa's magazine runs dry, so he immediately picks up the wounded officer's pistol to continue returning fire. It isn't until this moment that the militant who was just shot finally dies after taking 3 hits. But the militants outside know the police possess weak firepower, and their leader shouts slogans preparing to storm the building again. Hearing this, another officer springs up to kill one attacker, then immediately crouches down to fire blindly. After Kawa frantically changes his magazine, a militant gets in close quarters. Reacting quickly, Kawa shoots and kills one man with his right hand, then immediately makes a chopping motion with his left hand to fire again, executing a flawless double kill. At this point, the police are completely out of ammunition. Disheartened, they can only grab whatever sharp objects are nearby for a final stand. Kawa finds only a broken glass for defense. Just as the militants pull their triggers to rush the room, the desperate Kawa hears a string of gunfire outside that sounds completely different from AK assault rifles. After the gunshots, the outside suddenly goes quiet. Still shaken, he raises his pistol and slowly stands up. It is then he realizes that the people who saved them are a group dressed in SWAT gear. Later, he learns that these men are the Nineveh SWAT team, a unit officially confirmed to have been wiped out. This comes as a huge surprise to the 2 officers and the 2 militants lying on the ground. Subsequently, without any interrogation or ceremony, the Nineveh SWAT team summarily executes the 2 militants with knives. Next, SWAT Captain Jassim takes out a list of militants provided by intelligence and conducts a political background check on the 2 officers. After passing the vetting, Jassim directly pulls out a SWAT cap and invites Kawa to join the team. This is not just because Kawa is young, but more importantly, his police uncle had just died at the hands of the militants, and a rigid requirement for Nineveh recruits is having a deep-seated hatred for ISIS. Subsequently, the other officer, Jamil, leaves the town with Kawa's uncle's body, while Kawa puts on the SWAT uniform and follows the squad to begin a secret mission that will not be revealed to him. At this time, the squad enters a hotel to rest. Kawa suddenly notices a police car driving toward the hotel, and the person stepping out is Jamil. However, after getting out of the car, Jamil immediately pulls a signal flare, throws it near the hotel, and drives away quickly. He is clearly a traitor. Before they can think, another car suddenly speeds in and stops right next to the signal flare. After the dust settles, Jassim slips on a pool of blood. Upon getting up, they are shocked to find that team member Tomahawk has been struck in the head by a grenade and killed. Jassim blames everything on Kawa. One of the members, Kamal, immediately stands up to mediate, stating that Kawa never left his sight, clearing Kawa of suspicion of collusion. After dealing with Tomahawk's body, the squad of 11 men splits into 3 Humvees and heads toward Mosul. Just as they arrive at the edge of Mosul, someone in the city suddenly opens fire on fleeing civilians. Numerous citizens fall one after another amidst the ruthless gunfire, and the road instantly descends into chaos. Jassim predicts the gunfire is coming from the 10 o'clock direction. The gunner on the Humvee immediately operates the checkmate VZ-37 air-cooled heavy machine gun to lay down suppressive fire. It isn't until Akram is unfortunately killed that Jassim realizes he misjudged the direction. He immediately orders the gunner to adjust and fire at the rooftop on the right to suppress it, On the rooftop, two militants are pinned down by the pouring bullets. Unable to lift their heads, they prepare to wait for the SWAT team to reload before peeking out. However, unbeknownst to them, during the gap in their suppressive fire, Jason has already led Kawa and others to rush up.
Aman!
Aman?
Aman!
Subsequently, the group scavenges the militants' backpacks and takes the Norinco NDM-86 sniper rifle. The Nineveh SWAT team was trained by the U.S. military in the early days. After the U.S. withdrawal from Iraq in 2001, the unit began hunting militants independently. They do not belong to the regular Iraqi forces, so their equipment and supplies currently rely entirely on scavenging. Just then, Walid uses a periscope to spot the SWAT team's target location for this mission: the building with the blue satellite dish on the roof. The appearance of the destination makes Walid feel suddenly nervous, but they are still unwilling to reveal the target of this mission to Kawa. Subsequently, Jason spots another militant camp through his scope. They seem to be moving supplies, preparing to retreat from Mosul. Jason proposes using the remaining 10 men to take out this militant stronghold, but it is merely a suggestion, not a decision. He gives the choice between attacking the stronghold to prevent being ambushed later or bypassing it to complete the original mission to Walid. This choice makes it difficult for Walid to decide for a moment. Clearly, the original mission is directly related to him. Just then, the sound of a drone propeller comes from the sky. The men hurriedly look up to find it, but seconds later, the drone crashes straight into the ground. One of the SWAT Humvees is destroyed on the spot in the attack. Before they can react, another drone attacks, but in the next moment, it is hit by a bullet from an unknown source and crashes. Jason cautiously picks up his scope to observe. An Iranian officer holding an M4A1 carbine appears on the building opposite. Jason's first reaction upon seeing this man is a resource exchange. Continuing the dialogue across the gap, the two sides agree to exchange cigarettes for ammunition. Downstairs, where the Iranian troops are stationed, Jason enters the building alone carrying 2 cartons of cigarettes as agreed. Because the Iranian forces have no outside support within Iraq and cannot go out freely to find supplies, they have to resort to this method. After exchanging a few pleasantries, they finally agree to swap 1 box of ammo for 1 carton of cigarettes. As an additional condition, the Iranian officer Isfahani asks Jason to identify a few prisoners. Just then, Kawa, who was left outside, hears Jason shouting. The team members think Jason is in danger and rush in all at once. It is then that Kawa suddenly realizes the man in Jason's hands is the police officer, Jamil. Because Jamil has the blood of a team member on his hands, Jason demands the Iranian officer hand the policeman over to him. However, to save face, Isfahani does not want to give him up easily, and the two fall into a fierce argument. Desperate to survive, Jamil frantically tries to explain to Kawa that his betrayal was involuntary, claiming the militants had threatened him with the safety of his wife and children. As the argument between Isfahani and Jasem heats up, the soldiers present become tense, and a close-quarters firefight seems imminent. Just then, a stunning scene unfolds. Kawa suddenly pulls out the axe from behind him, sprints a few steps, and viciously strikes Jamil in the head.
خب تكة واحدة لكل صندوق.
Subsequently, both sides exchange supplies peacefully. Walid then exchanges hookah's hookah for an RPG with a single rocket, intending to attack an ISIS camp they've seen earlier from the rooftop. In the car, Kawa's performance has completely won Jasem's trust. He tells Kawa everything about the Nineveh SWAT team's history. Just as he is about to tell Kawa the mission target exclusive to the members, Kawa interrupts him.
ما أريد أعرف بعد، ما أريد أعرف. بس كل اللي محتاج أعرفه بالوقت المناسب وراح أنفذ مهما كان.
On the way to the militant stronghold, a pile of obstacles suddenly appears in the middle of the road, blocking their path. Before they can think, gunshots erupt from the front left of the Humvee. The SWAT team has been ambushed by militants. Seeing this, the team members hurriedly evacuate the vehicles amidst return fire to find cover. Fortunately, the militants are firing from only one direction and have not formed a crossfire on the SWAT team. The members quickly recover from the panic and launch an effective counterattack. However, just as team member Yunus attempts to cross the road, he runs right into a bullet fired by Kamal. The gunfire stops, and all the militants are killed. Yunus is killed in action due to friendly fire to the head, and Kawa suffers a cut on his face from shrapnel caused by a grenade thrown back by Walid. After pulling themselves together, the remaining 9 team members continued marching toward the militants' stronghold on foot, advancing in a hedgehog-style combat formation. However, just as the SWAT team prepares to pass through a residential building, Jason at the front runs head-on into a militant, and another encounter battle erupts. After the skirmish ends, the SWAT team loses another member, leaving only 8. But none of the members have any thought of giving up. Instead, their desire for battle grows stronger. Arriving at the high-rise building next to the militant stronghold, Jassim and Walid go to the roof first to scout the enemy nest. Jassim immediately formulates a battle plan. First, the sniper will hold the high ground on the right with the NDM-86 rifle for observation and fire support, while Kawa, armed with an AKS-47 assault rifle, will provide cover from the high ground on the left. Once the assault team led by Jassim is ready, the firing of a grenade will signal the attack. However, this single grenade turns out to be a dud. Just as everyone's heart tightens, the militants begin firing, and everyone is forced to launch the attack according to the original plan. After clearing the militants in the courtyard, Kawa immediately goes downstairs to regroup. At the turn of the stairwell, he fired a decisive burst of rounds and scored a double kill. This single action is enough to prove Kawa's rapid growth. At the rally point, Sinan dies painfully from a shot to the lumbar spine. There was no time to grieve. Jason immediately split the team into 2 groups. One launched a frontal assault to draw the militants' attention, while the other maneuvered around to the back door to catch them off guard. The gunfire ends, and the SWAT team successfully destroys this militant stronghold. Jassim immediately orders a 90-second rest before setting off to complete the final mission. However, at this moment, one of Jassim's habits costs him his life. Jassim's death undoubtedly deals a heavy blow to the entire SWAT team. They had always regarded Jassim as their spiritual pillar. The death of their soul renders the continuation of the battle meaningless for the team. However, at this moment, Kawa speaks up.
أنا أعرف إن وقفة شيء أكبر من هيك. لازم يكون شيء أكبر ولا ما حد بيكم كان يقاتل بالشراسة ويعاني بهذا الجزء من المدينة لو ما كان في شيء أكبر من هيك. ضروري نتحرك جماعة.
كاوا حكي صحيح. إحنا 6 نقدر نكمل مهمة.
In this way, the 6 men continue moving through the devastated city toward the final objective. Inside the target residential building, due to the narrow corridors, the members switch to more agile pistols. At the door of the final target, Walid is sweating profusely, his hand shaking nervously as he holds the key. This is obviously his home. He requests the team members to shoot any male that appears upon entering the room. It is only now that Kawa figures out the true mission. The mission Jassim was executing was to rescue the wives and daughters of teammates captured by ISIS. After capturing women, ISIS forces them to become tools, and the wives and daughters of captured enemy military and police are the hardest hit. Rescuing teammates' families is a thankless task that the government army is unwilling to do, and the US military certainly won't do. Only their own people will do it. Jason's love for his homeland was reflected in every aspect. Everywhere he went, he would earnestly sweep the floor and clean up trash. He wanted to make his homeland cleaner and tidier, but unexpectedly, he lost his life for it. Jassim's philosophy went beyond this. He also thought about rebuilding the homeland after the war was won. He expressed that young people could have more children. More children represent a faster speed to rebuild the city. He was willing to provide help to every child, even extending a helping hand to children in dangerous zones. His philosophy successfully infected the newcomer Kawa. Kawa, who had joined the SWAT team for only a short time, grew rapidly and decided to inherit Jasem's legacy.